body by sensing and feeling, dropping into the corridor of awareness. Noticing the parts of the back of the body in contact with the floor, and perhaps the rhythm of your breathing. Bend one knee as we come into unwinding one, basic lumbar release. As you bend the knee, you ground the sole of the foot and you stretch the arms straight out from the shoulders. Turn the palms of the hands to face upwards. On an inhalation, press into the sole of the foot that's on the floor and swing the knee across the midline. As the knee swings across the midline, let the same shoulder be heavy, and then just gently release. Moving slowly and softly with the breath. Inhaling into the movement, the pelvis is light and the shoulder is heavy. If you wish, you can add a turn of the head so that your nose turns in the opposite direction to the knee. So you create a counter rotation in the cervical spine of the neck. Allow for there to be a little pause between the movements, and then slide the leg away. And just sense and feel into that right leg and left leg, the hip, the lower back, noticing sensation. And then when you're ready, bend the other knee, place the sole of the foot on the floor, the arms are still stretched out from the shoulders in that T shape, the palms are upward facing. You're going to press into the sole of the foot, and as you do so, you swing the knee across the midline, and the hip buttock, lower back, travel with the knee away from the floor. The pelvis is light, and you remember that you encourage the shoulder on the same side of the body to be heavy. Release for the respiratory diaphragm, the abdominal viscera, sacroiliac, and the next time the hip and the buttock land on the floor, you stretch the leg away, sweep the arms back to the sides of the body, palms turned down, and just pause there for a moment. Perhaps there's a spontaneously deeper breath, fuller breath. And then Spinal Undulation I. So bring the arms into the goalpost position or the cactus position. So elbows are bent, elbows are at the height of the shoulders. Forearm bones are parallel with one another, that's your goalposts. Palms of the hands are turned towards the ceiling. Any discomfort on bringing the arms and the shoulders into this position, you either lift the hands, the forearm bones away from the floor a little with props, or you take the hands further away from one another. for a slightly wider position. So an undulation of the column of the spine for the health of the vertebra, and in this movement you're going to take an inhale, and as you inhale you invite the lumbar spine to arch, so the tailbone drops towards the floor, lower back hollows, belly gets wide. And then as you exhale, the belly narrows, draw the navel back towards the spine, back of the waist presses towards the floor. Good. Perhaps you come into the movement on an inhale and you release on the exhale. Lower back arching on the inhale, releasing on the exhale. Notice how the tailbone moves towards the floor as the lumbar spine arches. Tailbone moves away from the floor as the lumbar spine rounds. In this movement we yoke together the cranium and the sacrum. So as the lumbar spine arches and the tailbone drops towards the floor, lengthen the skin on the back of the neck and draw the chin to the chest. As the lumbar spine rounds, tailbone moves away from the floor, slide on the back of the skull, lift the chin up a little so there can be a lengthening and opening of the throat, a slight shortening of the cervical spine. So there is a rocking of the cranium and the sacrum on the current of the breath. And then leave off of the movement and just rest. Sense into the column of the spine and the vertebra of the spine. And slide your hands back behind your head so that you have interlaced fingers cradling your head and your head is resting on the floor. Just begin by pressing the arm bones, pressing the elbows into the floor for a moment, and then releasing. We could do the same. We can take an inhale, and as we exhale, we're pressing down through the arm bones. And then releasing. Okay, we're going to do a side scrub movement here for the lateral body. So the head stays heavy on the floor. You simply sweep the head across, and as you sweep the head across, so the knuckles are sliding across your blanket, one elbow goes towards the wall behind you, and one elbow drops down, so it's going towards the side of your waist. You keep the elbows wide throughout. As you sweep the head and the interlaced knuckles across the blanket, you might like to just gently turn the head in the cradled hands to look at the elbow that's extending towards the wall above your head. So you have convex on one side of the rib cage and concave on the other. Compression on one side of the rib cage and the spinal vertebrae, and length and space on the other side. A real sliding and gliding quality to the movement. And remember, you can pause there. You can pause in the movement for a moment. Particularly on your barrier side, a pause can be useful. Maybe extending space in that connective tissue. And then you come back midline. And you bring your arms to your sides, palms turned down. Stretch the legs away and you just have a little notice, sensing, feeling. One final movement, bend both feet, bend both knees so the feet are flat on the floor and grounded. Cradle your head in your hands once again. This time take an inhale, and as you inhale, invite that lower back to arch and the belly to widen, the elbows to widen, the elbows to press to the floor. And as you exhale, lift the head up, draw the chin to the chest, pull the elbows together, lift the shoulder blades from the floor. On the flow of the breath, inhaling and exhaling, chin to chest, mouth soft, belly drawing back. Inhaling, you can slide a little so the neck spine shortens and the throat opens. Similar to Spinal Undulation 1, the tailbone moves away from the floor in the rounding position, chin to chest, elbows together. Tailbone moves towards the floor in the wide belly, lower back arch, wide elbow position. And then rest the head to the floor and bring the arms to the side of the body. Stretch the legs away, let the legs be floppy, feet heavy, and just have a final moment of being in that corridor of feeling, sensing, maybe some kind of ripples moving through the body, some vibrations. And there is a short practice. You've completed a